Live from our Seven Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight to the state election, and 5 gruelling weeks of campaigning have finally come to an end. Tomorrow, Tasmanians will decide who will lead the state for the next 4 years. For more now, we're joined live by reporter Sean McComish inside the tally room. Good evening, Sean. Now tell us what happened on the final day.
Well, Kim, today was almost like a microcosm of the entire election. There were some cheesy moments, another candidate scandal, and more fierce words about the health system. But there is a sense that Labor has gained some ground in the past few weeks after its disastrous start to the election campaign. However, there's no more certainty over what will happen if Tasmanians back a minority government tomorrow. With his political career riding on an early election, Peter Gutwein knows the stakes are high.
If I'm not in the Premier's chair after Saturday night, I will resign.
Spending his final campaign day announcing changes for e-scooters as Rebecca White fired the final salvos.
Today I've seen the Premier literally riding around in circles with no plan to fix the problems that we have across Tasmania's health system.
But even on the last day, the wheels can still come off. Peter Gutwein is again defending candidate Adam Brooks on allegations he used a false identity while dating a woman.
Look, I've got more important things to worry about than Mr Brooks's love life. Mr Brooks has categorically denied that those profiles are his.
Mr Brooks is already facing court on charges of incorrectly storing ammunition. The string of scandals is further fueling speculation the result will be closer than first thought, prompting this familiar message.
We will not govern in minority.
We will only govern in majority.
Call us when you need us, say the Greens.
If the people of Tasmania in their wisdom don't give any party a majority on Saturday, we'll be prepared to get in there and help to make it work.
As for the feeling among voters,
probably going to head toward Labor. I mean, Liberals done a good job obviously with the COVID crisis, but yeah, probably go Labor this time.
Well, I really like what the Liberals did throughout COVID-19, so I probably support them, I suppose.
I think Liberal will get back in again. I think they've done a fairly good job.
I think it's a bit mundane and it just sort of seems to be what they're saying for the moment, and, you know, whether they follow through on things. So, no, it hasn't given me much interest at all.
This election has been one like no other. Held in the shadow of a pandemic, scandals and factional fighting have often overshadowed the promises and policies. It's now up to voters to decide what matters and who deserves to govern. And we're joined live now by Tasmanian Electoral Commissioner Andrew Hawkey. Good evening, Andrew. How many Tasmanians have already cast their ballot?
We've seen quite a considerable rise in early voting so far. By the end of Thursday, we had 56,000 pre-poll votes cast and over 20,000 postal votes have already been returned.
How long are you expecting the count to take tomorrow night?
For most polling places, it'll be the same as a normal state election, which will be around 9 or 10 o'clock. But for some of them, there's about 40 polling places where they will be doing both Legislative Council and state elections. They might be a little bit later there. We'll count the Legislative Council first, though.
And what COVID restrictions will be in place tomorrow? Will people have to check in using an app?
They won't have to check in with the app. Because we have an electronic rolls, they will get marked off by ours and we can provide that if need be. There will be other COVID safe measures such as distancing with marks on the floor, hand sanitizer on the way in, bring your own pencil or you can request an individual one, and social distancing.
And just one more sleep until the big day. How are you feeling?
It's been a mad rush for 5 weeks, a 5-week sprint as we like to call it, but we're ready for polling day and the 2 weeks that follow.
Andrew Hawkey, thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Kim.
Thank you very much, Sean. And 7 Tasmania will have special coverage of the state election tomorrow night from 6 o'clock. We'll be live from the tally room and key electorates, and you won't miss a minute of the footy either. A 22-year-old man has fronted court over an alleged shooting in Invermay. Harvey Wilmot is facing several charges, including wounding and firearm offences, after being arrested last night. Mr Wilmot is accused of shooting a 52-year-old man after attempting to steal his vehicle outside an Invermay home last week. The victim has since been discharged from hospital and is recovering at home. A self-confessed paedophile who allegedly snatched a 5-year-old girl from Montague Campground in the state's northwest earlier this year is set to face delays in sentencing. 42-year-old Cecil Mabb has pleaded guilty to abducting the child. The prosecution today asked for more time to process new police statements provided by members of the public. Dark Mofo has announced a $60,000 seed fund for Tasmanian Aboriginal artists. The money will be used for funding proposals at future Dark Mofo events and will be managed by a yet-to-be-appointed First Nations advisory group. 2 cultural advisors have been appointed to work in the planning of Dark Mofo 2021. Indigenous advocacy groups have called on Mona to better engage with First Nations people following the Union flag controversy. A Tasmanian distillery has become the first in Australia to be officially recognised as carbon neutral. LARK has been awarded Climate Active certification, something the founder says has taken years of work to achieve.
LARK Distillery founder Bill Lark says that climate awareness has always been a core pillar of his business.
It's something that, we started working on the moment we built the distillery out here at Cambridge, in terms of recycling all of our cooling water and ensuring that really no byproduct left the site.
That commitment made official. LARK, now Australia's first distillery to gain the federal government's Climate Active certification.
For us to achieve this accreditation, this certification, is a terrific achievement, I think.
Whisky is such a long-term game. Sustainability in everything we do, and that includes becoming certified carbon neutral, is so important.
This recognition enhancing the brand's premium reputation.
If they know, I'm certain that the sort of consumer that we attract and our customers and the people I know would certainly be very proud of what we're doing.
He hopes the entire industry can continue to become more environmentally friendly.
We all want to see the Australian whisky industry and distilling industry become a real role model to other industries.
As LARK continues to expand, it'll look for more ways to reduce its footprint. Yearly audits to retain this award will ensure that happens. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A piece of pre-World War II history holding an untold story has finally been reunited with a Tasmanian family. Wayne Thomas never knew his father played in one of St Pat's Football Club's first premierships until he recently saw the long-lost photograph.
An 85-year-old photo, now dusted off, holds a special symbolism for Wayne Thomas. Among St Pat's strapping premiership outfit of 1936 is his father, Jack, a World War II veteran who, much like the war itself, never spoke of that victorious team.
I didn't even know it was from the paper that he'd actually won a state final. So that's how much they talked about it.
Even playing in his own final years later didn't enlighten Wayne to his father's story.
They played football, they got married, they went to war. There wasn't a lot of football after 1939.
That year's trophy is equally as treasured by the club. It was found at the tip, salvaged, so descendants of those players can commemorate its 85th anniversary this year.
He was very proud to be a member of St Pat's football team.
The club will wear its Guernsey from the era tomorrow and face off against its great foe Old Scotch, who St Pat's beat in the 36 decider.
It really shows that we've got a long, rich history and we should celebrate that.
As one club celebrates its past, the South East Suns is writing its own history. Mum Jo Roy and her daughter Tegan will run out for their first game together in the SFLW.
I've been watching her play and really holding her own against, young girls half her age, if not younger. And I thought, if she can do it, I can give it a crack.
Always thought she'd be a pretty good football player. And the Suns are such an amazing group of people to play with.
The duo will play North Hobart on Sunday. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
E-scooters could soon be introduced to the streets of Launceston and Hobart. The 2 councils have expressed an expression of interest process, joining forces as they try to lure companies to trial scooter networks.
Might not be suitable for everybody, but they are one more option for getting around the city in a convenient, easy, safe way.
There's a lot of park and ride now with their push bikes, and you can do the same with scooters. So you could stop near a spot where there are scooters, and then you can get on the scooter and come into town. So there's a variety of ways that people use it.
The councils have indicated there would be rules in place to make sure the scooters were used safely.
Clarence will be without strike weapon Josh Green for this weekend's blockbuster TSL clash with the Tigers as he battles a hamstring injury. But the coach's confidence hasn't dipped, backing star youngsters to fill the void.
After a high-profile win over the Northern Bombers, the Roos are bouncing with confidence, but the round 3 victory did come at a cost. Stars Josh Green and Keegan Wiley both suffering injuries and will miss this weekend's match.
The healthiest teams throughout the year are going to continue to win games as they always do, and so it's really important that we look after our players this early on in the year.
A blow somewhat eased by the return of players from the NAB League, an energy injection the coach knows his side will need to match it with an exciting Tigers outfit.
Look, the reality is that we've got to bring effort and intent, and if we don't bring that, then we won't be in the game anyways.
Despite the hype surrounding Kingbororough's fresh success, the man at the helm says the squad is not getting carried away.
It's crucial when you're playing well to keep your foot on the gas and keep trying to, get those good results.
Meanwhile, North Hobart players have been urged to respond from last week's 120-point hiding with a 4-quarter performance against Lauderdale.
We've really made it a focus to have a responsibility of each other this week.
To the AFL, Kangaroos coach David Noble has challenged his side to match the intensity of the Demons in Sunday's Hobart homecoming.
I think the exciting thing for us is being able to go down to Tassie and play. I mean, it's been 18 months since we've been down there. Ticket sales have been going really well.
The Tasmanian JACKJUMPERS have recruited a New Zealand veteran to its NBL staff list. Former Tall Blacks forward MIKA will aid in the hunt for roster talent.
To help out, to connect with the guys that we do get in and try and establish the values that this club wants.
And South Hobart is bracing for its toughest challenge yet in the Seljak Cup when it takes on Devonport tomorrow.
We'll go into the game expecting the normal from them, which will be a huge match and an exciting match, I'm sure.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
And would you believe it is 15 years ago today since Tasmania's most controversial and chaotic sporting moment. Tonight's Friday flashback is Siren Gate, the match when the umpires didn't hear the game was over, causing a crisis for the AFL. Less than a minute to go and 1 point in it.
The Saints have not led today.
The crowd was thunderous and that became serious trouble when the clock ticked down to 0.
Well, how many seconds to go? What are they appealing for, the Dockers?
Appealing because the siren had gone, but the umpires didn't hear it. And under the rules of the game, it isn't over until they do. And the headache really began when Stephen Baker levelled the scores.
And kicks. A point. There's going to be a free... No. The siren's already sounded. They were saying they heard the siren. The siren's already sounded, but they did not hear it.
This was the Aurora Stadium siren in question. Fremantle was furious.
He's going out there, Chris Connolly. He's heading out there to try and work out what's going on. This is an interesting discussion. Wouldn't it be nice to be a fly on the wall?
It got worse. Players and coaches nearly came to blows.
Oh, this is appalling.
And Baker was given another free kick.
And Baker has kicked another point. Does the previous point stand? We have no idea.
It didn't, so scores were tied. Goal umpires conferred, the result was final.
When our players heard the siren go, the game's over. The next thing, it's balled up. The right thing's got to be done.
Nigel Baker was in the corporate box next to the timekeepers that day and was the one who told them there was a problem.
Hit on the window with the old stubby and got them to get their attention and say, fellas are still playing.
For the first time since the year 1900, the draw was overturned. Baker's testimony to the AFL was pivotal to changing the result.
When the result was changed, I think it was made an honorary life member of the Fremantle Football Club because they actually won the game.
Overshadowed that day, the G Train giving away 3 50-metre penalties in a row.
He will fight anybody down there. This is silly by the veteran.
And the mysterious disappearance of 7 seconds from the clock. Those final moments capped off a truly extraordinary day.
The siren was so hard to hear all day long.
Good evening. Campania with 21 on top of the list today. Hobart reached 20, Launceston 19, a tad cooler in Burnie and Devonport. Close to or just above average temperatures today. King Island 20, St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Grove, Strawn and Flinders Island 19, Ooze 18, Lyawini 12 degrees. Clear skies over the south today, but cloud persisted over northern Tasmania and to the northwest. A large frontal cloud band is crossing the Southern Ocean, heading our way of course. Onshore winds have produced cloud along the eastern coastline. Conditions clearer further north. The front and trough continue on their track across the Bight. Another high starts to move over Western Australia tomorrow. Northeast northwesterly winds at 5 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 knots over the west and east. Hobart, mostly sunny, 23 degrees. 23 for Maydena, partly cloudy for Oatlands, but fine, 20 the top. Launceston 7 to 23 the temperature range, morning fog but a fine afternoon, cloudy for Devonport 19, 16 for Lyoweeney. Burnie 19 degrees and partly cloudy, a sunny day for Strawn 21 and 19 the high for Marrawar. St Helens tomorrow a high of 21 and sunny for Swansea 22 the top, Orford the same. On Sunday showers developing over the west and north, most likely in the afternoon, fine over the east and southeast. Showers easing on Monday, evening winds shifting southerly and possible morning showers over the north and Bass Strait on Tuesday. A sunny 22 in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, a fine 24 forecast for Melbourne. Morning haze in Sydney, followed by a late shower. Showers and 23 in Brisbane. Clear in Hobart, 13 at the moment, 13 right now also in Launceston and 13 as well in Devonport. A couple of things I'll be watching over the weekend, Kim. In particular, our Tasmanian horse Healer is in the Australasian Oaks in Adelaide tomorrow at around 4:30. Our champion jockey David Perez is over there to see if we can get some more money from the mainland, and good luck to the Brunton stable. And of course the election tomorrow, we've had a chat already during the day. Who are you voting for again?
Good night, Murph. See you Monday.